with Bilgehan Öztürk. He's a foreign policy researcher at the SETA think tank in Ankara. Bilgehan, always good to speak to you. So these new laws and the comments coming from Sweden's foreign minister, are they going to influence Ankara's decision on whether or not to approve Sweden's NATO bid?
Not probably the statements from the foreign minister per se, but the fact that this bill has been passed by the parliament can be a strong, let's say, influence on Turkey's decision. But I'm not sure whether the foreign minister of Sweden is fully right, because not all the conditions have been met so far. Because yes, it is a welcome development that they passed certain laws to crack down on certain terror groups, from financing to recruitment to propaganda activities. All of them have been Turkey's demands from Sweden to make the life harder for terror group members and supporters. But there is also another important condition based on the trilateral memorandum, which is foreseeing an extradition of terror group members. And this is I think up to still different interpretations. Sweden might believe that it has fulfilled its duty to extradite certain figures, but whether this will be deemed enough from Ankara, we yet to see this. But I think regardless of this passing the bill and these statements, I think we should put the new developments into context, and that context is significantly about the elections in Turkey. It is no secret that both the United States and Sweden, the governments, I mean, really hoped a change of government in Turkey, which would make it much more easier for the accession or fast-tracking Sweden's accession to NATO, because the opposition in Turkey had already voiced their favorable view of Sweden's fast-tracking accession into NATO without any preconditions. But even the United States, we have seen statements from Secretary Blinken. He is saying time is now, as a way of reminding Turkey the necessity to accept Sweden into NATO. There is Biden's congratulatory speaking with President Erdogan. He is tying the two separate issues, such as the F-16 procurement and also the Sweden's accession into NATO, which have not been the necessarily associated issues in the eyes of Ankara. But it is obvious that United States is increasing its pressure on Turkey to fast-track Sweden's accession. But we are yet to see whether this will be enough and convincing for Ankara in the coming days.
Yeah, we've yet to hear, as you say, from Ankara with regards to the latest comments and this law coming into effect. Do you think this law is going to be effective at all in Sweden in cracking down on terror activities, given that the PKK terror group has said on the 4th of June that they will protest this new legislation?
Since the PKK and its supporters have a big presence in Sweden, it is really likely that they will protest. They have the capacity to really hurt the daily lives of people, the daily running of the order of cities. There is another downside of harboring the PKK supporters in the country. They have definitely the intent, they have definitely the capacity, and they will do their best to retrack this legislation. But when it is a legislation, when it is a bill, I think for the politicians or the public prosecutors, there is no excuse anymore not to prosecute terror-related activities and terror-related individuals. I'm sure because of other arguments in terms of rule of law and also other sorts of let's say talking points, not to implement the prerequisites of this bill. But it is a bill, and that's the end of the story. They have to abide by the bill, and they have to implement the prerogatives of the bill and crack down as it is the way to deal with the terror group members, not only for Sweden's accession to NATO, not only to keep Turkey happy, but for the own sake of Swedish citizens.
Bilgehan Öztürk, thank you so much for your analysis.